So another request was to work some of these round points. I mean, some of these round preforms. You know, the ones that look kind of circular. What do I do with the circular ones? That kind of thing. I think you might be disappointed because I usually make the circular ones into triangular ones. Should I try to preserve the width on one of them? What do I make out of it? I don't know. I mean, there are wide points like bell points and stuff out of these circular types. That kind of thing. But this is the biggest one, so let's work on the biggest one. Just in case I mess up, I got plenty of room. I don't like making bell points, but maybe I'll make a bell point. Alright. I'm going straight into this from the last one. I'm going to try to make a bunch of videos all at once, like last week. Sometimes I get lucky and people like a certain video. Yeah. Maybe one of these will be one of the good ones, but this is pretty much same old, just working bifaces given to me by other people. It's going to be that way for a while, because I said I'm going to work everything that I'm napping, with a few exceptions. I don't want to nap stuff on video that I have invested a lot of time or money in, so I don't want to break it. Okay. There are some side projects that require a lot of time and money. I don't want to break those on video. I mean, I don't want to break them because I'm working on them on video. This is a raw chert, probably, although it's not bad. It's not bad quality. I can probably thin it down. It's going to be tricky, but that's just the first impression on this one. Might not be too tricky. It's just that if it's got undetached flakes, that can be an issue in the final appearance. Might be difficult to achieve a smooth looking point. Well, that's not good. I just scooped it out. I don't want it to be just scooping it out. What did I do? I hit right there. Yeah, that's where I wanted to hit. Yeah, that's better. That's what I wanted on the last one. And yes, I can make little arrowheads out of that, although no one wants to see me do it. They want to see the big stuff. I can't say nobody, because there are some. I have a very loyal core of subscribers that want to see everything. Big, small, in between, everything. But most of the time, it's the large ones. It's the large ones that people want to see. Okay. I'm trying to be careful with this because it's very Very risky. When I don't know the material, I don't know the material all that well. I can't just be blasting into it like I want to. I want to just blast away all the lumps. If it is raw, it's a pretty good quality. I just got to be careful with the step fracturing. I got to make sure I'm doing everything I know to prevent step fracturing. And what that means is make sure I don't overreach. Make sure I don't do too much. I don't try for a miracle with every shot. It's got to be reasonable. Reasonable size flakes. If I try to do too much with these, I end up with nothing. Reasonable, measured, with moderation. Low risk, relatively speaking. So I flattened out the ends. I pushed really hard. When I push really hard on the sander, you can hear it. That's the joint in the sanding belt that causes that rattling noise. I had to buy some belts with a very thick joint so that wouldn't break in the first 5 seconds of using them. All right. And why is it important to have a smooth face? See how it scratches? See the scratch marks? Maybe, maybe not. You can see. But yeah. See the scratch marks? That means that I removed this flake on the slide. It's a swiping technique, in case you don't know. For those who don't know, this is a swiping technique. Why is swiping being used in this video? Because it's a more gentle technique than gouging. This one is a gouging when I use the indirect percussion. Yeah, it's harsh, right? But it allows me to get into these various areas. It's very versatile. I'm going to go probably to a swiping motion later on with some different tools for the indirect percussion. But for now, I'm gouging with the indirect and I'm swiping with the direct percussion. The swiping is more forgiving and it produces longer flakes because it remains in contact with the platform longer. Even though it's just a fraction of a second, that sliding keeps it in contact with the platform to produce longer flakes. Okay? That kind of thing. And yes, I can use it for an arrowhead, in case you're just tuning in. I always get that. Are you using those flakes? Well, I can, yes. Are you saving those flakes? Yeah. Do you have any arrowheads already made from those flakes? Yeah. How many did you make from those flakes? That kind of flake. How many arrowheads you got from those kind of flakes? Oh, a bunch. Or I used to anyway. Really? How long does it take you to make them from those little flakes? Just watch my videos, man. You recommend any books? Do you have any books in your videos? Yeah, I just made one video that had a book in it just a little bit while ago. How long is this tool? How long is your billet? How long is this steel aluminum titanium thing or whatever it is? It's aluminum 6061. It was 4 inches when I started. Now it's between 3.5 and 3 5/8. Yeah, it was 4 inches when I started back in the day when I first started using it. Exactly 4 inches when I first started using it. Some of you guys, you know how long I've been using it. You can calculate the amount of wear per month. How's that? Yeah. 1/2 inch per year. Some guys have been using billets for 20 years. That would be like 10 inches off the billet. That means their whole billet would be gone if they were using it like I use it. Yeah. Obviously, they're not using it like I use it. Obviously. What makes my technique different? I tackle extremely tough stone. Yeah, I tackle extremely tough stone sometimes. If you're the type that tackles extremely tough stone and you still have a lot of your original tools, your tools don't wear down, please make videos and explain to us what you are doing to preserve your tools. Okay. Please post what you're doing. What are you doing to preserve tools for that long and working tough materials? Because I think you're just lying. Yep. There's a lie in there somewhere. All right, so that's enough with direct percussion. So I'm going to switch over. I'm trying to preserve the width so that at least I can say that I worked one of the circular looking ones and it was kind of wide to begin with. Stayed pretty wide. So there you go. We'll see. Everyone wants to know how to run long flakes. Practice. Practice. There are different methods. I like using indirect percussion, but you can use direct percussion through the whole process. You don't need to use indirect. You don't need to. I'm just showing you a very versatile technique that solves a lot of problems. That actually allows you to replicate artifacts to a very good degree, convincing degree. Might not have been the way they used to do it. I mean, it might not be the way they used to do it. All right, we're running into some issues. With the flakes not traveling. Hold on. Need to dislodge that undetached flake. There was an undetached flake in here. Right there. Sorry, there was dust on the lens. All right, so yeah, we're going to have some issues with the steppiness of this particular material. Yeah, pretty typical of a gravel type chert. Steppiness, can't get away from it. In many cases, just gotta live with it. The way to avoid the step fractures is just not being overly optimistic. Try to do too much and then get nowhere. Some of you said, oh, I'm just going to go for it. I'd rather break it while trying to do too much than have a crappy looking point being safe. It's perfectly fine. That mentality is perfectly fine. Not just because it's an option, but because I think they used to do it that way in the past too. Yeah, I'd rather be aggressive with it and deal with the consequences than be safe and have a clunky looking little point. Yeah, there's a crack in it. I'm gonna have to lose width. See that crack? It goes all the way through. And I don't know if I put that in there or not. If I did, oh well. So much for a wide point. How do you avoid that? Well, in my case, I don't, and I can't. It just happens. If I used antler, would it be different? It would probably be thicker, but yes, it would be different. I probably wouldn't have to deal with it, but it wouldn't be that thin. How did they used to get them thin back in the day with the antler and stuff? Lots of practice. Lots of practice. And luck. Practice and luck together. What are the ones you see that are rare, thin and rare? There's a reason why they're rare, because good luck is not that common. It's rare to have a lot of luck when making a point. A lot of good luck. It's rare. That's what makes the points rare. The ones that are very thin. Some people say, I wish I had some good stone. Wish I had good stone to work on. Yep, so do we all. Welcome to the club. We all want good stone to work on. I know it doesn't make you feel any better. No one's got cheap good stone. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I had to be very careful. Come on. Every time I try to get one of these flakes, I had to be very careful with that. See how this whole surface looks kind of steppy. Even though I'm trying to eliminate all the step fractures, it still looks very choppy and steppy. The terminations they're not very feathery. They're abrupt. Terminations are abrupt, and it's one of the characteristics of some stones. This one, it's feathery on this side, but not this side, which is also pretty common. One side will work better than the other for some unknown, very irritating reason. It seems to be the same consistency on both sides, but one will work better. They don't want to travel very well on that side. Let's see. I'm going to take a risk and see if I can power off a lot of those step fractures. Now it's damage control. I'm pretty thin, so it's just damage control. From here on out, I don't need to thin it very much. I just need to get rid of the nasty areas, or try to. It didn't reach all the way, but it was okay. I can live with it, I suppose. Always gotta check. Always gotta check my progress. That's why I flip it over so many times. In case you didn't know. Flip it over many times to check the other side. Okay. So I'm just trying to clean off the surface of as many step fractures as possible. Yeah, I still can't reach. There's no reach. Yeah, it just keeps stopping in the same spot. Yeah. You guys want to see how to eliminate that hassle. You guys want a wide point with no islands in the middle. How do you avoid it? It's a balance between hitting extremely hard and not breaking it. Usually when there's an island in the middle, it means you're being smart. It's not stupid. Because the force required to get rid of the island most likely would have broken the point. You're not too smart if you break the point. It's smarter to have a full point with island in the middle than a broken point. Broken point means you're a dummy. Yeah. Steps in the middle or an island in the middle does not mean you're a dummy. Yeah, because you got a point. You got a knife. You got something. You've made something. That's smart. You got two very, very thin half points. You say to yourself, I got a ton of very thin, broken bifaces. I'm smart. No. Not smart. Even though you can thin them down. If they're all broken, you're a dum-dum. Yeah. I'm going to regularize it, and then I'll see where I am. See where I am. Just take down the edges. I could take down these edges with... Yeah. First, I'm going to go with a smaller indirect percussion tool and then pressure. Let's see how far I can get. And now some people might be thinking, wait a second, I got a lot of thin, broken pieces. And he's saying I'm a dum-dum. But how much of a dum-dum can I be if they're really thin? Eventually it's going to be a whole piece. And they're going to be really thin, whole pieces. You can't have thin, whole pieces without having half whole pieces. I mean, you can't have thin pieces without breaking a lot of them first, right? No. You can tweak it to where you don't break as many and end up with thin pieces after some more experience. Now you can try to do the fast track thing and break a whole bunch of them, go through a lot of rock and depend upon luck to preserve some of them and say, see, I learned how to thin in very little time. Yeah, I got a lot of broken ones, but it only took me like 1/3 the time to learn how to thin them. So I'm smart. Yeah. Yeah, if you got a lot of stone, sure. It all depends on your situation. In general, I think it's smarter to have a completed point that's a little bit thick and steppy than a bunch of broken thin ones. Even though you may end up with the shortcut that you were talking about, effectively shortening your learning curve, and you end up with thin points in record time. Yeah. It's possible you can learn to make thin points in record time, but you're going to depend upon luck, in my opinion. Do I respect luck? Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's cool. You got lucky, as long as you admit it. As long as you know that luck played a major role in what you're doing. Yeah. But if you're thinking, no, I am controlling the luck. Yeah. I'm in control of the luck. And then this one, you're on shaky ground there. Yeah. Alright, so I thinned it down on the edges with indirect percussion. Now, I did send in some thinning flakes deeper than just the edge. But now I'm going to regularize it with pressure. Go around the outside. See where I'm at. See where I am. See what's going on. I'll be able to see the thick spots, the wonkiness, or anything like that a little bit better in terms of where I can shoot flakes and that sort of thing after I get the edge regularized. Now when I'm doing this, I don't want to mess up any nice bold flake patterns. The in-betweeners can go really far sometimes and mess up your flake pattern if you're into that sort of thing. Just FYI. If you're just learning and you're going, you know, I always want to have nice bold flake pattern, but they do the in-betweeners and I lose the flake pattern. It's no more bold. No more bold. What's up with that? I thought regularizing was going to be cool, but it turned out to be a jerk. Yeah. Yeah, regularizing can be a jerk. It can wipe out your nice, cool, bold patterns. You end up with stuff that looks so meh. End up with the meh. It's a type of point. You never heard of the meh point? MEH? The MEH projectile point. People look at it and go, meh. Yeah. Of course, if it was real, they would say it's beautiful. Why do I say beautiful in that way? Yes, I do mock some people. I do mock. I thought you said mocking was for Machiavellians. Yeah, it's not true humor. It's just one of those cheap shots. Yeah, it's true. It's not nice. Now, let's see. See, once I get this thing regularized, I know where I can send some flakes in, maybe to get rid of some of the junk. Yeah. Of course, if it was just me, I don't care about that. I don't care about that, really. Especially if I was going to make a knife. You know, the hafting or the haft might cover some of that. But, I don't know. Sometimes I don't mind leaving it in. Sometimes it bugs me a lot. The only time it really bugs me is when I know I could get rid of it. I know I could get rid of that. I just left it in because I didn't want to deal with it. That's when it bugs me. And I say to myself, yeah, I could have gotten rid of that. And I didn't. Yeah. That's when I don't like to leave it in that situation. All right, I'll finish this up on the next segment.